Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody, and I have a 12 by 12 layout for you today. I'm actually not doing as many 12 by 12 layouts here recently, so I thought I'd share one with you. This is Calen's first day of school, his picture from 2017. So this is actually July 2017 when this picture was taken. So to make this layout, I actually pulled out my Studio Calico kits from August of 2017. I have the scrapbook kit as well as the PL kit, or the Project Life kit. And I also have lots of scraps in here. So let me just kind of show you what we're working with, and then we will get into making this layout. Got enamel dots, some puffy stickers, some sequins, a stamp set, got my chipboard pieces. I've got some, looks like clear acetate circles. I've got another chipboard sheet, but they're different. The other stamp set. We've got an alpha, looks like an acetate alpha. I've got a bunch of cards here, 3x4 and 4x6. Bunch of scraps from where I've cut into a lot of cards. Of course, my papers, stamped a alpha, some cutout words, some little flags, and a badge. And then I think the rest are just papers and scraps. We've got all my scraps here. We've got our papers. I've got this one that's already been cut into. We've got this pink with some pins, stripe with some flowers. This is a die cut sheet with some stars. Got this kind of watercolory, this really bright yellow honeycomb with a white with red circles on the back. And then I've got all of my cardstock. So that is what we're working with. We're gonna go ahead and get the desk cleared off here, and then we will get started on our layout. Okay, and to create our page today, I'm going to use this 12 by 12 sheet. It is the one that has the white background with the red circles on it. And I'm also going to use the die cut sheet here. I'm going to trim down this die cut sheet a bit, and I'm going to fold back the stars. And instead of having them pop up, which is definitely an option, I'm going to kind of adhere them back. So you see the white part as well as the circle part sticking out, and then we'll probably put our photo somewhere in there. But I'm going to go ahead and get this paper trimmed down, and we'll get our background put together, and then we will start embellishing. I actually really like this die cut sheet, but I don't know why I didn't use it. I remember not liking this sheet when I first got this kit, so it is kind of funny to me thinking about now how your style and like the things you like and dislike change a little bit over time. So it was kind of nice to actually pull out this kit and use the die cut sheet because I do really like it now. It's something that I do actually, or I've actually thought about buying a die cutting machine so I can do some backgrounds like this. But it was nice to have one in my stash, and I didn't have to actually cut it myself. The only thing that I'm going to do is sit here and fold back every single one of these stars using my bone folder. I have a hard time with that word. Bone folder to crease that center seam in each star, and then I'll go back and glue down each one. Very simply, just with my roller glue there. Now they do kind of pop up a little bit over time, but it's been sitting, this layout's been sitting on my desk for a couple days now, and each of the stars is still folded back. It just may have a little bit of dimension, so I'm not real concerned about it flipping the other direction. You still see all the white bits, and once it's actually in a page protector, which this one will be in a page protector, they'll just kind of flatten back out. It was more so just to make sure that the stars stayed open so you can see the white piece as well as the circle dotted piece on the other side. And I'm very pleased that the back side of this is closer to a true white than a cream. A lot of times whenever you have die cut sheets like this, if it's not made out of plain white cardstock, sometimes it doesn't have that crisp white background. So when I paired it with the pattern paper that had a pretty crisp white background, it matched fairly well. It's not exactly the same, but it matched fairly well. And with the gray as the other side as the offset is really kind of a nice look. Decided to trim down my photo just a little bit and mat it with this pink card. I know that I'm using a card to mat something when I could have just used the cardstock, but I really have 1,018,000 cards in my stash, and so I'm really not concerned about using a card for something like this. I am not one. I used to hoard supplies. I still use scraps, and I don't just waste. I don't just throw things away, but I'm not quite so much a hoarder anymore. I'm more of a, if you can use it, then use it. Don't hold on to it, because otherwise you're going to have everything that you hold on to, and you'll never end up using your favorite things at the time, or things that work. You may end up trying to find other ways to use, other things to use instead of like cutting into a new piece of paper or something like that. I am the quickest to cut into paper now, and the quickest to use something and chop it up, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have absolutely no problem at all doing that now. So I went ahead and pulled out the branding strip here that I cut off the polka dot paper, and I'm using it to kind of put the bottom part of my title, and then I'm going to use the die cut this as part of the title. So my title is just this, day 1, because this is the first day of school, that school year in 2017. So I really like these die cut words. I wasn't sure how I was going to use them when I looked through the kit here just a moment ago, but I really think it's a great way to add to the layout. It's something additional that you add. It's a different texture, it's a different color, it's a different size. It's just a really kind of nice embellishment to add that adds a little something to the layout. I thought for a second about putting my photo up on some foam adhesive, which is why you see those foam sheets off to the right, but I'm going to nix that idea and just glue it straight down. Just tucking the end of my little banner piece I cut out of the manufacturer's strip under the photo to kind of make it all one cluster. I like to have things touch instead of being separated. I like to just have things kind of overlap slightly or touch slightly, just like you can see this is touching both the photo as well as the rest of the title as well. I do like the color, the like red and yellow colors in the word this, because it gives me different colors automatically to kind of work with in the layout. And then that 01 flag has the light blue and the dark blue. So again, I'm kind of pulling in colors from the photo with his uniform and the red polo shirt and the navy shorts, along with this word as well, kind of pulling all of these colors together. Yellow is a color that's not in my photo, but it really works well because it's within the word this. I don't typically use acetate pieces because I don't like the fact that you can see the adhesive through it, and I like to make sure things are adhered down. So I am going to go ahead and use this acetate piece. I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz tiny attacher to attach it and make sure that it's secure on the page. And again, since it's going to be in a page protector, I'm not too concerned about the fact that the bottom part of this is not adhered down. As long as those staples stay in place, we're good to go. And the staples aren't going to come they're not going to come out because this layout's not going to be handled. It's going to be in an album, and you can flip the pages back and forth and the staples won't be affected at all. This one, since it is tucking under the photo, I can just add a little bit of glue to it and not have to worry about being able to see the glue because it's under the photo. I just like the way that red kind of pops against the gray and more neutral backgrounds or background papers we're using here. And it kind of brings in another red pop to this page. It really makes the his his polo shirt of his uniform stand out nicely. But I did go ahead and put some staples down there just for a decorative element. I found a pretty basic gray label die cut in my little label storage that I have here. You can see the little drawer on my desk. So I decided to just trim down the border of that a little bit to give it a very thin gray border. It's darker than our star die cut page, but it's still gray, just like that die cut page is. And I'm using my Smoky Shadow ink from Paper Tray Ink to stamp the one of the sentiments from one of the stamp sets in this kit. This is 2 kits that I've put together, which is why we've got 2 stamp sets. It's also why we have 2 sheets of chipboard. It's also why we have what do we have 2 of? 2 packs of the acetate circles. I had the Project Life kit and I had the 12x12 main kit. So I actually really like to mix my kits like this if I buy multiple kits within 1 month, because it's usually by the same designer or the same person has curated the kit. So a lot of times if you don't have overlapping supplies, you'll have the same style in both kits or the same theme in both kits. So even though we have 2 sets of these acetate circles and 2 sets of chipboard and 2 stamp sets, they all coordinate together, but they are all different. Like there's different images on the chipboard pieces on one sheet versus the other sheet. And the acetate circles, yes, are the same size, but they have different images on those as well. Trimming out another LE Studio label. I recently went through my little drawers that I keep on my desk because I realized I wasn't really using them. I had things piled in front of them, which made it less likely for me to actually use them. So I recently went through them, kind of rearranged them, made sure the proper things were in the proper drawers, and I've done about 5 layouts since I did that, and I've really started utilizing those quite a bit more. So it just goes to show that every once in a while you need to kind of retouch your organization systems, either change them because they're not working or reorganize them, like go through the drawers again to make sure that they're set up the way you intended for them to be. Now that I know that everything is in the drawers is exactly what's supposed to be in those drawers, I am much more likely to grab them and use them. And it's already, again, we're 5 layouts into it, and it's very much proven to be the case. So I pulled out a red chipboard piece to the top left, and it's a circle with a heart, and then I'm doing this little arrow one here, kind of creating a cascading stack of labels. We've got the diagonal piece that I had cut from the manufacturer's strip, we've got the one I've stamped on, and now we've got this chipboard one that has the arrow. This layout is pretty much coming to an end. I really like the bright red against the more neutral gray and white and blues. Even though blue is a color, it's still a little bit more neutral because it's not quite so bright and bold as the red is. And then that yellow just kind of, it just have yellow in that one spot between the border strip and then in the word this, but it makes it to where the yellow in the word this is not just so random. It kind of makes it coordinate well. All right, so that finishes out this layout. I hope you guys have enjoyed. The very last thing I did was just add a few enamel dots, and that finishes it. This layout was so fun to make, and I really like the way that it turned out. I challenge you to go find an old kit that you haven't dug into in a while and see if there's something in there that you originally weren't drawn to that now maybe piques your interest a little bit. All right, I've got a couple of videos here for you to watch if you have not watched those already, and I will be back soon with something more. All right, bye.